Do you love Pokemon? Well, now you can buy your very own. I've got to buy Pokemon. I've got to buy it. I've got to buy it. Now you can collect.
Is Geats good yet? We are back after a week with no Geats, with more Geats action. Yay. And yeah, it's definitely an episode of Geats, as we try sprinting to the finish line by introducing a whole other arc. Bro, what the hell is it? You know what, let's just get into this recap portion. Buffa finally gets to have his peace with Sarah, while Ace continues to slowly statuefy. Sumidi, however, still has concerns that her double is up to no good. And no good she is up to, granting Kekira's wish of turning everyone into their writer objects. Not exactly, just wishing that Keiwa would be the only writer left in the world. Why was Wind transformed? Bro hasn't even had a Triver or ID core these last couple of arcs. Kekira is out for Keiwa, just for Daichi to show on up and Jamodify himself, just to throw hands.
It's the first round of the evening, Kekira versus Daichi!
Blade, you're back, but Geats isn't good.
It's decent though.
Wait a second, your mouth isn't even moving.
Yeah, it was me the whole time.
Well, you know what? You may resume.
Too late, the fight was over before truly popping off.
Oh, well, that's disappointing. Well, while all this goes on, Jito pulls a premium new driver right out of his ass, just to take this rush paint job of a belt straight to Ace and speed up that statuification. Now back with Daichi and Keiwa, who got snatched up and locked up by Kekira, just to give us more time to let Daichi redeem himself. Keiwa thinks that Daichi deserves to be happy in this brand new Ace world, though Daichi raises the flag that due to him becoming a Jamato, that just ain't happening. But that's cool though, because as long as he's got some of that human left in him, he'll be aight. It's time once again to make a spectacle out of things, with Kekira announcing the matchup between himself and Keiwa on the Jumbotron that's been getting a lot of use this season. But to spice things up, he's got hostages, along with some Jamatos just waiting to feast on them. Which, I didn't really know that's what they did, but okay. So it's Keiwa with the ninja and Kekira with the premium. So, you gonna commentate this fight, right?
What fight? It's already over! With some barriers and some shooting, Tycoon is down!
Okay, so that was another quick one. So Kekira pulls out the wish card, so that Keiwa can toss away some happiness to free those people, and the clock's ticking. You know what? No, never mind. Just release those Jamatos. To release the humans! Because they are Daichi's Jamatos, the ones that he didn't eat, but he can control them mentally, I guess. So now, it's time. The real fight is here. Kekira and Keiwa pulling out Ninja yet again.
So now, it's time for the real fight, with flips and shit going on stage! And shots fired at the wall, followed by tongue shots right after. But Tycoon uses his weapon to propel himself right into an ass kick, while Kekira pulls the style over substance. that is until Keiwa gets in one good hook. And now, it's time for Button Sword. Wait a moment, where's the sword? What sword? He's gonna get in that one-rider kick! I guess Kekira likes licking toes because that's a defense I never saw coming.
You know who is coming? Tycoon! Oh, well, that was a fight. Okay, so after that fight, Keiwa thanked Takeda for making him a writer. This gives Takeda truly the heartiest of laughs, thus fulfilling his initial wish. So he's gone. And with him gone, his wish is null and void. And the inanimate objects are back to our writers. And win! But on the other side of that map, Takahashi tried showing us that he was indeed cooking with the visuals of the show's intro by having Ace break out of statuification and out of the shackles that bound him. But Jito's gotta show off just what that new belt do. And he transforms into Kamen Rider Regard.
And we're off as Regard decides to kick rocks and knock Geats on the back of the head like he's got a fresh cut.
That's right, Blade. He goes flash time to speed through.
I think you might have overworked yourself there, little guy. Look, just real quick. Geats already picks up Jito's speed and counters with a well-timed shot. He does end up using some of his powers with the ninja buckle because of course it's conveniently on set. But you know, that doesn't matter because they end up taking the fight up into the air just for Geats to finish things with a piercing rider kick. But that's when we find out that Jito was just a creation of Sueru the whole time, who decides that the DGP is back in full force with new contestants, new prizes, and a new suit that was already a new suit. With this episode of Geats, we get the new coloration of Glare and Gazer with Kamen Rider Regard. So with that, let's talk forms. So firstly, there's the name. I saw that the official romanization for the suit is called Regad, but I've been pronouncing it Regard because Regard actually does follow the nomenclature of Glare and Gazer, as it does mean to look or gaze upon. The new Zillion driver is just a retooled version of the Vision driver with such a rush paint job that you can actually see the old paint in some parts as well as some paint outside of the lines for it. They also used a popped out filter to just make the belge bolt out a little bit just to change things up. As much as it sounds like I'm completely shitting on this belt, I am eagerly refreshing those pre-order pages to see if they've popped up. The Regard suit in itself is probably my favorite retool in Geats. As I already love the Glare and Gazer suit, this one just adds every single one of my favorite colors to it. The only thing that is weird is the shade of gold used for the suit is not the same gold used around the belt straps. The chest piece does come from Assault Wolf from 01, but in order to make him not be built like a Dorito, they threw in that little half skirt on the bottom. Now between Regard and Regard Omega, I'ma have to go with Omega on this one because the eye opening up was just icing on the motherfucking cake. Top tier suits. Rating time! The pacing of this episode really is something. We get the wrap up to Keiwa and Keikara's feud that seems a bit rushed. A non-explainer of the Zillion driver as well as that new form. And Geats just willing himself out of statuification. Dab hand D! They really are just rushing through things now just to get to the proper ending. Looking back, the grand end should have been just that, the actual ending of the show, with maybe a few episodes of epilogue trying to tie up a lot of the loose ends afterwards. Having this whole bad endgame play out, along with Black Sumeri's temporary wish-granting abilities, just makes things seem a bit unnecessary in terms of padding to get to the finish line. The addition of Regard is cool and all, but this should have been what Sueru transformed into the first time, and not that other version. Or they could have at least hinted to it much sooner. Since I think we were all in the camp of mild disappointment when he did just transform into another Gazer at the end of that arc. If they had done something to the effect of showing us that the executive producer had the Zillion driver while the producers and the game masters just had the Vision drivers, that alone would have changed some of the dynamic. And before people say, well, he was gonna get beat by Ace anyway, so what would be the point of introducing it so early? Well, this episode showed us this already, by having Regard being the first form that gets used up and beaten by Ace, and then when he returns, he pulls out the Omega. Look, this really just is more of this shit should have been done sooner syndrome. Jito finally gets to be a writer after bare knuckle brawling this whole time, but it seems hilarious that this man with a stick has a higher power level than actually having a proper suit. Never seen somebody just get jobbed so badly and so quickly. It honestly would have been more raw just seeing this man throw hands with Geats 9 outside of suit as opposed to having a suit to begin with. There's the whole revelation that Jito was really just a creation of Suiru himself, which kinda just cheapens things in a way, since he was less of a proper enforcer and just an extension of Suiru himself. Then, to add insult to injury, man's in-suit only lasted 1 episode. Truly a waste. The Kekara and Keiwa fight was also pretty lackluster at that, and definitely felt more rushed than the Buffa Beroba fight. The fact that he transforms into Bujin's sword and doesn't even have the sword is just weird as well, as he almost instantly went into a full rider kick. He should have at least done some flashy moves, but nah. Then this episode went all in on getting Daichi'S Redemption Arc going into full swing. Because of the seed plant this week, with the talks of him having to have some shred of humanity in order to be happy, I can already see Daichi sacrificing himself to save one of the cast, if not the whole cast, from a fatal blow at the end. They also wrote out the cast this episode by turning them into objects. Though why they had to change when the man hasn't even transformed into a rider since he came back to life makes no sense. Next week though, it looks like all the contestants added on to the DGP are just pawns for Suiru to use against folks, as I guess he reopened up the 4D future hole and brought everyone back with him, including Samus, who hasn't really done shit besides point a gun. Speaking of pointing guns, we also see that Black Sumity pulls one over on Ace by dressing up like regular Sumity, just to finally pull out that gun. Takahashi really out here thinking that he's clever as fuck for doing all this shit like the last possible minute. Okay, so what did you think about this week's Geats? Kekara having his last laugh, Geats losing that privilege, Jito getting that downgrade, and Suiru getting that hands on that wallet. Anyway, that's it for me. Keep overcooking those meats for the next Geats, and I will see you all next time. Bye.